I'm eating blueberries on that. No lipstick tubes up here to steal, so I could do makeup with Roy. So you're SOL on that. Yeah. Actually, if you go to television, they actually do y'all in the makeup stuff, which is kind of weird, but. Sounds like that funky slide guitar music. It comes on every 5 p.m. If you guys were live at 5 on IE Newswire, both on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be joining KMET 5:30 on the 1490 AM, broadcasting all across the dial. We've got Eddie George coming up here on Skype on that. Hopefully we'll have Kenny White and Duane from Idaho on that. Of course, it's all Trump, COVID, that. But yeah, big announcements today all across the board. Boy, was there a contrast in opinion. Trump just ended his press conference about 45 minutes ago, opening up America again. Big highlights where he said 29 states were pretty much up and ready to go. He was going to leave it to the discretion of the governors and the counties, which I thought was very interesting. We'll have some stats on that. Some neat stats in California that you might not be aware of, or you don't hear on the Gavin News. If you want to know why I got the NY/CA Governor Cuomo and Newsom, my belief, my opinion, they're working to hose us off on this new normal. Their new normal, as Gavin Newsom in a restaurant, we're taking out tables. Everybody's going to be 87 feet apart. You're going to have your temperature taken in, gloves, anything. Trump said the new normal is scratch the new. Normal is normal. Normal is if you had 158 tables, we want you back working with 158 tables in your restaurants. Back to work, back to school, full football stadiums of 100,000 plus in that, and get ready to rock and roll. Now, it might not happen quite as quickly in some areas as others. Obviously, New York's got a problem and all that other stuff. But to get his thoughts on it, we are going to have that crazy guy with a lazy eye on from HEMET News, Eddie George. In from Skype, welcome to the show.
What's up, Roy? How's it going?
I hope the sky and the ceiling, as long as that's up, we're doing good.
Right. I haven't even had a chance to even do any updates on this thing that we're talking about today. I mean, it's been a crazy day ever since I got in the office, but I'm going to follow you on this, and I'll jump in with you, throw my 2 cents in, whatever I can, even if my 2 cents ain't worth 2 cents. But, hey, I'm going to try anyway, right?
There you go. That's the whole enchilada behind this. No, it's very interesting. It starts out every day with and I post them both on HEMET News, IE Newswire Daily. You can watch the press conferences, and we're giving you 100%. You're able to see. You can go back and look at it, archives and stuff. And more importantly, Eddie, let's talk about this. I think that show we did yesterday, I think everybody should watch that show. It's on the pin to the top of the page, or it was. We have the new show. But we had that show that we did yesterday, putting together what's appearing to be the COVID-19 coronavirus SARS story. When, who, why, what, and how knew about it. They knew about this in 2015. The Chinese were working on it in biolabs. We knew about it in 2018 per the cable from our State Department that was watching this stuff and saying, what the hell's going on? These crazy Chinese are about ready to kill us all with this stuff. We put it together. I think we've been giving out the accurate or most plausible situation, and even as you were explaining it, didn't know what I was doing, you were telegraphing exactly what was coming in. I think everybody should watch that that show that we did yesterday, I think you'll have a much clearer understanding what's going on, and that will benefit us in the future because maybe now we'll start getting a majority of the people like they were in Michigan with their cars up and down the road protesting the governor over this stuff. Maybe we'll have a clear picture going forward, and the people won't buy this BS we've been getting. What do you say, Eddie?
I agree with you, Roy. And a lot of people say, well, that's just conspiracy theories. Well, sometimes conspiracy theories actually does bring out the facts and truth, because right now what we're looking at and what the government's telling us and what the media is telling us is basically what the media is telling us is what the government is telling them to tell us. So, people need to, really wake up and, smell the coffee before it's gone. Because, dude, I don't really think this is a conspiracy theory, what we were talking about yesterday. I think it's really more like putting 2 and 2 together and realize it's actually 4 instead of 2, because, this just stuff don't add up with what the media is telling us and what the government's telling us and what Trump's telling us. They're only going to let you know what they want to know. But come on, folks, use your head besides a hat rack. China, I think, did this shit on purpose. Excuse my language, but, I just smell bullshit in these stories that we're hearing. And people need to start really analyzing this and finding out, dude, read between the lines. This is a biochemical warfare. And it's not from eating bats, folks, because I think it's from these people,
yes,
like Roy was saying, they were experimenting on these bats. Why were they experimenting? Biochemical, right? Why would you be taking these bats and taking samples from these bats trying to figure out viruses? Leave these viruses alone. Go make something that's worthwhile instead of something like this. And then now look what happened. They had a leak in their facility, their lab testing, and now it's all over. Was it on purpose? We don't know, but we'll find out. That's just my theory.
There you go. And like I said, and this is really, and why I put it together. You have the Washington Post on one end, Fox News on the other, and the Epoch Times probably right there in the middle somewhere in that. You could get not 3 different diversity, philosophies, anything else, all coming together with the same conclusion and the same evidence. This is not really, it's not far out right-wing or right-wing conspiracy or the kooks over there on the left side that want to take us to communism or whatever. Like I say, that's how you do it. But to do that, and that's why I think kind of the semblance, the shot across the bow was, because, as I said, Gavin Newsom yesterday was saying, this is the new normal. Restaurants are going to have to take out tables. You're going to have to be 87 feet apart. You're going to have your temperature check taken in. No football, no concerts, no big gatherings for not only 2020, but maybe into 2021. Trump comes up and says, we're getting people back to work. 29 states look like they're ready to go on or before May 1st. He's going to leave the decisions up to the governors or counties unless he sees something that's going haywire, and then he's going to step in. But he said, we're opening up the restaurants. He said, if you had 158 tables before, we want you to have 158 tables in the future. We want 110,000 in the sports stadiums. We want you back to work, back to school. We want to get this back to normal. And I'm going to tell you this stat, and it's on the New York Times website. They got it county by county. 16 counties in California have 0 deaths, up to 43. 43 counties have single-digit death numbers. There's only 15 counties out of the 890 deaths that we have only in California. 15 counties are only in the double digits. We'll lead them by L.A., the biggest one, 10 million, with 400. But the death rate, death rate average in California is 2 per 100,000. It's 4 in L.A. County, 2 right at the average in Riverside County, Kern County, Bakersfield greater area. 1 million population. 3 deaths. 540 cases. The death percentage per 100,000 is .003 or something like that. Why would we have why would we be putting Kern County under the same restrictions in 43 counties which are not seeing this? Why would we put them statewide under the same restriction as a place like LA County where it is more serious?
I call batshit on all of it, Roy. I do. I do.
And I think that's what Trump was bringing out.
Exactly. And my opinion on this, Roy, which, opinions are like buttholes. Everybody's got one. Some just smells worse than others. I sit back and I read a lot about this coronavirus, what caused it, how it caused, why. And I got to thinking, people don't want to talk politics on this, but I really think this is a major political thing. This is, like I say, my opinion. I'm not discrediting any opinions, but, really, Roy, I think this is some attack from the Democrats that just wants to, bring our economy down. They want to see our economy drop because why? Their butt hurt because Trump didn't get impeached. So this is a way to attack. And I feel maybe somebody's got some money in this thing somehow, they got China to do this thing. And if you look at it, our economy is going to hell in a handbasket. I mean, look at our stocks, look at our businesses, our mom and pop businesses. Everything is coming to a screeching halt. Nobody is hard for to survive these businesses. Now they're talking about, this going on into another year, everything. And look at China. Look at their stocks. They're skyrocketing while they're sitting back laughing at our country and other countries while our stocks is going down. I mean, I think this is a global attack to attack our economy. That's my opinion.
What I think it was Khrushchev back in the old Soviet Union days said we were going to take you over without firing a shot. Well, he wasn't successful, but look at how much more powerful the Chinese are on this and stuff. And I think it even goes deeper. That's why, again, if you look on the post on HEMET News, Newswire, I'm putting NY/CA governor, whether it's Cuomo or Newsom, because look at what they're saying. Cuomo, well, we're not going to lift these restrictions till we get a vaccine. Well, we might not get a vaccine till 12 to 18 months. Well, wait a minute. Tell me where the vaccine is for the common cold, for HIV. You know what? There is none. Sometimes even the vaccines, as Dr. Fauci or any epidemiologist will probably tell you, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes we can't figure out them at all. Again, like Newsom yesterday said, well, come back in 2 weeks on May 1st and I'll tell you if I might let you outside. Well, what kind of okay, maybe in LA County, maybe in even Riverside County a little bit, but tell that to the people up in Kern, up in Bakersfield, Fresno, where there's nothing going on up there of that, or there's no symptoms or signs of this thing busting out or affecting those areas or most of California or most of the United States. I'm saying this even goes deeper in the economy. I think they are trying. The left, the totalitarians, the Chi-Coms are probably working with Newsom and Cuomo of that to take over this country and put you under their rule. They're testing it. They're seeing how much will you take, and that's kind of where I'm seeing it.
I agree, Roy. I really do. I mean, it's coming down to where basically your constitutional rights, you're going to end up having to just use that to wipe your ass with for toilet paper because there's not going to be no good,
I mean, that's the take I've been having on this. I mean, increasingly, that's what I've been saying. That's why I've been putting out all of the information. I haven't got back to them yet. Riverside County Health Department had a press conference. I've been raising Cain about it, so I finally got, okay, Well, we think you're accredited enough on the media to call in. So I called in on their phone queue, waited, and you can watch the tape. I was on there, put my name in, was all set up. They went through, asked 27 questions. Guess who didn't get called? Yours truly. So I'm going to send them the tape because I went after the tape that we posted on HEMET iNews and I asked the question. I'm going to send them the tape. Since they don't want to communicate, they don't want to answer my email questions, I'm going to send it on tape. Like the whole thing. Tell it, give us, are you testing?
Still get an email on it?
What's up?
You still didn't get a response from them yet on
Nope.
that?
No, they were, they
Give me the response. I'll get them.
No, we haven't gotten any response to it yet. We're waiting for it, and then again, and we were going to have Dr. Kelly Victory on, but she's got delayed on a flight, so we'll have her on tomorrow. But and that's what we're gonna clear a lot of this up. But like they're saying, they're basing their models off of the current testing that they have on that stuff, and okay, they're only testing people with symptoms. Are they basing their model on that? That's what I want to know. Are they basing the model on that, or are they basing it on a cross-section of the population across the whole county and making these decisions of what we're having to do? I think it's a legitimate question. On top of all this other evidence that's coming on this stuff. Because you have to question these guys. Like you say, you're seeing two dramatically different things going on. You're seeing Trump, the governor of Texas, who's talking about opening up. Trump on opening up America on this stuff, all across the board. And then you're seeing Cuomo and Newsom. We got to lock this stuff down, and for how long that it's going to take forever, and discounting. You know what? There's a PE article up there that had it talking about our best defense of this is going to be the herd immunity. So again, I'm not buying into it of the 100% unless they can show me that the data they are putting in is correct. Because if you talk about all the people that are just infected, yeah, your death rate is going to be, and your statistics are going to be way skewed from what reality is. I mean, you could take a poll, and I mean, I could run the methodology any way I wanted and come up to any conclusion. But a scientific poll, you take a cross-section of whoever you're talking to, and in most cases, they're pretty close. So which end of the string are they on this stuff? That's what we got to. That's my philosophy on what's going on this stuff. It's got to be it seems like we're in this whole deal. I don't want to take one step forward and two steps back. And that's what I've seen. We've been doing a lot of this on this stuff. I mean, we get some good news. I mean, it was doom and gloom from Cuomo and Newsom. Trump's putting a little light on it. Said Fauci and Birx and all those guys were all on board on this stuff, and it's something else on that. I don't know. It just makes it makes my skin crawl sometimes when I hear this stuff, because what's the truth? Why are the people of Michigan going out in droves, cars backed up a mile, people marching in the streets, and the governor saying we want to go back to work? And Detroit area is one of the worst spots that it's hitting. But the people all across the board, the traffic's coming back. People are getting restless. In LA, you're seeing the traffic coming back. You're seeing more around this area. Look at the damage. Tom McClintock, congressman of that, had it up there. He said, you're not looking at the long-term damage of this that it's going to do. He said, 4.5% of the people die prematurely in this country because of poverty. If we knock the economics out of this whole thing, on that, we may cost far more lives in the future than what we may be saving now, like the Sweden model, saying we're going to take a little bit initial hit more on the top, but we'll be able to build an immunity to it. And as Dr. Fauci said on that, they're very concerned of what's going to happen on the rebound. And if we're not immune to it and it comes back and it hits us harder on the second one and we don't have that herd immunity, we could be in even more trouble. We could be undergoing more drastic measures and we could lose even more lives on top of that. So that's why I am concerned about all this stuff going back and forth, up and down. And we're trying to get Eddie back. I see him flashing in and out on our screen, just so you know why Eddie isn't talking. And I'm talking so much, which pray tell I hardly ever do. But that's why I'm saying is on this stuff.
Yeah, we're back.
Finally got you back on this stuff. One thing I want to, if I've got you back, Eddie, on the deal, I want to talk a little bit about this herd immunity stuff. Do we got him? He's kind of breaking up kind of bad. We're losing our connection with Eddie again. The first time it worked real good that we did that. But no, it's on a, it's a really, 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 really very concerning to me, because like I say, I gave you the example of California. On top of that, 58 counties, 43 of them have single digits in the deaths. There's only 15 counties where this is really a problem. Those you might have to have certain measures. There's no reason to be putting the rest of the areas in that if it's not necessary. If the officials in those areas deem we don't have a problem, if the states that are not suffering any adverse effects over this, they're not seeing any problem with it, if it's being contained, I see no reason why we cannot get back to work, back to school, back to normal operations as we should be doing, not this draconian stuff or based on false models that never come to pass, and then they have to redo it. Well, we got information, but maybe it was because we did these measures. So you never know. You never know 100%. And again, this stuff all falls apart if we don't have trust in them. And if they could, what about this on the rebound? If we don't trust the information that they're bringing us, on top of that, we're going to be the ones that are going to suffer over this stuff. Because people are not going to believe them, and then they won't wear them. If a mask is effective, which we don't know, we get conflicting. One day it is, one day it isn't. That I will agree with that. Wash your hands. That was one of the biggest things. On top of that, so you come across all this stuff that they do each and every day on that. Again, trying to run all this stuff that they've been on that. I just hope that Trump's side wins on this deal, and I hope Gavin Newsom and Cuomo's side of government control does not win. Do I got Eddie back? I think so. What do you say, Eddie?
Can you hear me, Roy?
I got you now. Yes, I finally got you back.
Awesome. I missed half of what you were saying because I was pulling off of the network, and it's a little bit further away from the router, so I had to switch over to the 2G network to get a little bit better strength. And you were in and out. I caught about 5 other words from you. So,
but yeah, again, like I'm saying, is that we should, the danger is, and I'm really to bottom line it. I hope I hope Trump's side wins out on this, and I hope the side of freedom and liberty and your right to live as a free person wins out over the government control that it looks like Gavin Newsom, Andrew Cuomo, and the Chinese want to give to us.
Yeah, they're wanting to extend this to talking about what for 18 months. Or something like that. Governor Newsom saying, I'll let you out of your house. It's like, we've been dealing with this since really, how long has this been going on?
Yeah, March 19th. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. if people would just, like I say, fall back to using common sense, like any other virus that we've had, what makes this any different? We've had more deaths on other viruses, it's just, the way I feel of it is, I think it's just a money-making scheme. That's all it is. It putting the fear of people, Bill Gates, being involved in this, if anything Bill Gates is involved in, I don't trust none of it. That's why I use Apple products instead of Microsoft.
You bring up a good point, because I've said, Trump said it, bringing back manufacturing back, everything else. And I think if there is some good to come out of this, I hope people stop shopping and buying this Chinese crap from Amazon and Walmart.
Buy USA, baby.
Yes. Let's put made in the USA used to be the epitome of quality products. You saw made in the USA, you knew that was probably the gold standard of anything you bought. Now you get China this and China that and throw it away and it breaks and you keep buying more of it. They make a lot of money. You wind up with a lot of stuff in your trash can.
Exactly. I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. And that's why I say most of the stuff you get from China don't last long, And that's why I was kind of like, this virus, I'm surprised it's been going on as long as it is, because it was made in China, So I figured it wouldn't last that long.
Yeah, well, maybe they're better at making viruses than products.
Right, exactly. They better start selling viruses instead of electronics and stuff like that, or shall I say, I still have it, my little souvenir, made in USA, this is what you get. Look how much toilet paper you get. Made in China, this is what you get. It's a mega roll versus our mega roll. And this ain't used. You guys seen this when I did the live stream earlier. I might have had about 6 squares off of this toilet paper from China. So you go, that just tells you right there.
Yeah. There's no better. Yeah, there's no better example of that. We build stuff to last. We build quality products. We always have. We need to be. We really, in this situation, not people. They're like Cuomo says. Oh, how many people can stay at home? No, we need to be putting factories, manufacturing stuff, put people back to work is going to be now more important than ever. Not only in the coming weeks and the years coming up, because if we don't, we're all going to be hosed on this thing, I'm afraid.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, Roy, I got to get back out there and get to work. I don't care what Governor Newsom says. It's like I'm being stuck in this house for how many days now, and it's driving me nuts. I mean, I love my girlfriend to death, but man, being stuck in the house with her all this time period, I'm pulling my hair out and I'm going gray and I'm going bald, and people was like, this is a funny situation. I was on that shooting story a couple days ago. And I was going through the comments on our Facebook group page on HEMETiNews.com, and one person was complaining about us being out there filming and, bringing the news. And she's like, well, you should be staying at home, and I like, well, if I stay at home, two things are going to happen. I says, people are going to wonder what the hell's going on. There's nobody out there to give you the news. News reporting is essential because people has to know what's happening. Number two, if I stay at home, I'm going to drive myself crazy, so I got to get out there and do something. And, people are like complaining that we're out there covering the news, but where's the first place they go to, Roy, when that helicopter's up?
Yes.
They see police everywhere. They want to know. They go straight to our page to find out what's going on, and then they want to complain about you being out there telling them what's going on. It's like, come on. And I'm doing this for free, I'm out here bringing you the news, putting our lives at risk on this COVID-19 deal to be able to be an essential person to service you as a community, to be able to let you know what's really happening around you. Should you lock your doors, load your guns or run or what, So,
as you say, you can't fix stupid.
And you can't even quarantine it.
Yeah.
We proved that,
Yeah, we're going to quarantine. Let's quarantine stupid. You got about 30 seconds left. Wrap it up, Eddie.
Hey, you guys, all I got to say is, folks, use common sense. Use your head besides a hat rack. And guys, be safe out there. Roy, I appreciate what you guys doing out there. Keep it 100. They do call me that crazy guy with that lazy eye with him at inews.com on YouTube and on Facebook. Roy, you have a good one. I am getting off my chair, and I am off your air.
There he is, the great Eddie George from HEMET iNews with all the insights and of that. And again, like I said, go to that COVID-19 the real story on IE Newswire. Look in the videos that's up there, and you'll even see what Eddie was talking about. And we didn't rehearse it. He even was telegraphing what was going on that. The real story was, the most plausible story of what's going on. Is that what really happened, and who, what, why, and how knew it? That we got that going on. We're going to be joining KMET 1490 here in about a minute or two or so. So on that, I think we got Duane from Idaho up on Skype. Hopefully we'll get Kenny White
1 minute
lined up on there, coming in on that to kick around all the stuff that's going on in this whole enchilada, because man, oh man, oh man, it's breaking right and left. I'm going to show, and Duane's going to be on when we go on the flip side. I'm going to show Duane a 50-state chart. Well, I don't know if he'll be able to see it, but they came out in the Trump press conference of that, and it shows it was dealing with that in Trump's press conference,
30
opening up
seconds.
America. Of that, he said He said there is no new normal. We're going to get back to normal. We're going to get back to work. We're going to get back to school. Our restaurants, our restaurants are not going to be modified. They're going to stay the same. We're going to put 110,000 people back in the stands.
AM.com and download your free phone app today. IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are necessarily the radio station.
There's that funky slide guitar music. Comes on every 5:30. Welcoming in the show, IE Newswire Daily. We're on every day 5:30 to 6 to bring you all the news and views you won't get anywhere else. And of course, it's COVID 24/7, 365. And especially today, man, was it a breaking news on there today as we come to you on a thankful Thursday. What? We got them both on? So we're going to get right to it because, again, there was breaking news all across the board. Trump had his press conference opening up America. He said there is not a new normal. He said we are going to get back to normal. We're going to get back to work, back to school. If your restaurant had 158 tables, it's going to have 158 tables. We're going to put 110,000 people back in the seats at our stadiums and everything else, and concerts and everything else is getting back to normal, versus Andrew Cuomo / Gavin Newsom, the California and New York governors, which I have them combined because they're one, which is telling you they're taking tables out of the restaurants. We're going to tell you when you're going to get out of the house. We're not going to let you out till there's a vaccine, which might be 12 to 18 months to never, because tell me where the common cold vaccine is, or HIV. Sometimes there is no vaccine, so that means they're never letting you out of the house under this stuff. But to kick this all around for the next half hour, I have two very special guests on Skype. He does the podcast South Side of the Unicorn, and we've done a lot of broadcasts all across the AM dials, all across the Inland Empire for many times. Kenny White and Duane from Idaho. Are you there, Kenny?
I'm right here, brother. How you doing?
Absolutely fantastic. And we got Duane from Idaho to run this back up. We got them all on Skype. So, Kenny, did you hear Trump's press conference today? We're opening back up America. He's basically taking the reins off, saying we got to get this done before we crash our economy. Our people go stir crazy being locked up. There's no reason in vast parts of the country right now, between now and May 1st, that it cannot be opened up. So let's get her done.
Well, brother, you know me, and this is how it works. The name of the show is the Southside Unicorn Show, and you and I have been up and down the dial on the AM radio. I mean, we've been like in the low 8s to high 1400s, but we put in a lot of hack together.
Yes.
And you should know me by now. Watch this. Go on my Facebook page. Go on my Twitter page at Ken White 4444, and you will clearly see I said that on the 16th of April, we will know what kind of country we are. And our president did not disappoint. Now, to some, you know what I mean? To some, it was breaking news. But to the Southside Unicorn, a.k.a. Ken White, I knew this is what was going to go down already.
That was a good call. I got to give you props for that. You hit her right on the nose on that. Duane from Idaho up there, what's your take on the Trump press conference? We're getting it back together. We're going to open up America. We're going to get back to normal operations ASAP because they're in vast parts of the great United States of America. There's no reason to be keeping this stuff locked down.
Well, I think it's long overdue. I think, as we've discussed this before, what I said was we are overreacting to media hype and scare tactics from the CDC and the World Health Organization. I was really pleased to see him go after the World Health Organization and tell them, you know what, we're going to withhold funds and investigate you. And because we think there's some criminal wrongdoing, we're not going to keep shoveling funds your direction to willy-nilly use as you see fit. You know, every time these people open their mouths, and I'm talking about the World Health Organization, Dr. Fauci, the CDC, every time they open their mouths, I think, Jesus, that's the stupidest thing they've said yet. Then they keep talking.
It's absolutely this, and I want to get your take because I want to contrast it what happened today with Andrew Cuomo, New York governor, and that. They were same thing. We might not, we're not going to open up or this, and they're talking about keeping stadiums closed for the rest of this year, maybe into next year. I think you're seeing two sides of this coin. You're seeing your freedom and liberty defended by Trump. You're seeing the ultimate attempt of takeover by the Democrats. I mean, maybe they're working with the Chinese. Who knows? But the two most powerful Democratic governors are trying to push this control agenda, telling you when and where to go, when you can go out of your house, and they're basically going to be your daddy. What do you say, Ken?
This is what I say. And hey, Duane, how you doing, brother? I see you on the screen.
How you doing?
I'm all right. Hey, look. This is what I was saying the last time you had me on the show. It's like a hurricane. The winds are blowing all around the world, and China is now what? The eye of the storm, nice and calm and cool, right? These academics work for that mindset. Now, I'm not going to knock Dr. Fauci. I'm not going to, knock on them because they're the brains that we have. I don't know how to separate mitochondria or DNA. They do. But the problem is they're so radicalized by the universities and the colleges that they came out of.
Yes, and I will say this. WHO, Trump said it 2 or 3 days ago. Dr. Fauci is a big fan of the WHO. He was off the press conferences for 2 days. He did come back for a small appearance today because I think they wanted to show unity on this stuff. But then Trump pulls the funding from the WHO, says they've been screwing us. The Chinese have been lying to us. I think you're absolutely right, Kenny, on this stuff. I mean, I think it goes deeper. Like I said, watch the COVID-19 video show that we did yesterday of that. You're going to see when, where, and how, and why. Who knew about this stuff? This came, I'm going to say, odds are 98.7% and probably more. This came out of China. They let it loose. They were doing bioweapons on us. They knew it in the government since 2018. The stuff has got to stop. I think Trump is on it. He's looking at these guys like Fauci and the WHO and saying, you know what? You've been lying to us, screwing us over for years, and we've been paying for it. That day is over. What do you say, Duane?
Well, there's a news story out of Zero Hedge that states that was actually suspended from Twitter that states basically the same thing. Their article linked Wuhan's Institute of Virology to the outbreak. And they traced back patient 0 to the laboratory. So that dovetails into what you're talking about. And not only that, isn't it interesting, like Ken says, now China is the eye of the storm. Everything's cool and calm over there, wonderful. Their stock market is going back up. So I don't think this was anything but a planned event. I never have. I've stated this from day one, that I thought that this was a planned event. We've known about these biolabs for decades. We have them ourselves. It's not news. It's not top secret. These people and these virologists get big money from donors like Bill Gates to go in and develop these things without any restrictions at all. And then when they go ahead and develop these things, they market them. They market them to other biolabs for other, research and development into wherever they want to stir these viruses. And I think that what we're seeing is, as time goes on, you're going to see more evidence supporting the fact that this was developed in China, and that is where it originated.
Most of you that are listening to this, and we're broadcasting from California. Kenny's there, Duane's up in Idaho. Put up the USA map. This was at the press conference, the Trump press conference. It's influenza-like illness activity indicator all across there. It goes from green to black. Obviously, New York's in the black. Idaho is actually in the high-risk category in the orange, but Texas and California are both in the low category. Texas tomorrow, Governor Greg Abbott is scheduled, and it's been reported, he's going to come up with a plan to open up Texas tomorrow and or before April 1st. California, why are you not demanding from your governors, your county supervisors, your city councils, and everything else, if our flu activity is the same as Texas and they're getting it on, why are not we? What do you say, Ken?
Well, following the Saul Alinsky mindset, they've always said, never let a good crisis go to waste.
Yes.
You got it.
So they are going to suck the very marrow out of our bones, and they're going to use COVID-19, the China virus, the coronavirus, whatever name you want to give it. They're going to use it like a cudgel, like a hammer, to break open our bones, to suck out that marrow. We have some tough decisions to make, and it goes along these lines. We are people who are governed by consent. We may have to take that consent back for a while.
Yes. What do you say, Duane?
No, I think we should take consent back immediately. I don't think we should relinquish our rights to do anything. As a matter of fact, we need to double down on our rights, and we need to take action. I'm with you. Why doesn't everybody, Roy, why don't you organize? I'm organizing a recall effort on my governor right now as we speak. I just came out of a meeting before I talked to you. We have got to let these politicians know that we are hip to the game, that we do not agree with their prescription for a lockdown mentality, and that we as free-thinking people are willing to take the risk in our everyday lives that we think is necessary to go on with things. Locking down the entire country did nothing but cost us a huge amount of money, and not only that, look at the amount of debt we've incurred in the last 2 months. We've got zero production and debt all coupled into one. And the entire planet is looking at us saying, what is the United States going to do? Because if we shut down, you might as well kiss the economy of the world goodbye. You're talking a worldwide slowdown. You're talking a worldwide depression. Our economy is the engine that funds it all. If we get off our butts and follow Governor Abbott's lead, I wish he was my governor, and get back to work and mitigate the risks as necessary. Those people that are high-risk individuals need to follow the rules. Absolutely. If you have a compromised immune system, go ahead. If you do not, get your butt back to work. I work every day. I have not stopped. I go to work every day as normal, and I'm not going to stop.
There you go. And we're going to play some of the video. This happened yesterday. That whatever that dingy broad is that does that, that's the governor of Michigan, who was going to go with the same thing, draconian. We're going to extend the date. This is the people of Michigan with their cars parked in Lansing, Michigan, in front of the state capitol, protesting, saying, we want to work. We are ready to open up. There's no reason that you're keeping this whole state locked down. And I've said it, maybe it needs to happen sooner. If California is not opened up by May 1st, we are marching on from the state capitol, county offices, city health departments, everything else. And there's the recall Whitmer of that they've got the sign up there, kind of in conjunction with what you're talking about, Duane. We got to get it, if not sooner, if this is not opened up in California by May 2nd, then we got to draw the line and take action. What do you say, Kenny?
Well, I'm going to fall back on what I said on my own show and on my Facebook page. I said that on April 16th, America would know who they are. We would all know who we are. And here's why. Our president laid down the gauntlet. Our president made the call. He made the call to order. Now the rest is up to us, just like Duane said. And Roy, to our shame, right? We tried a recall of Gavin Newsom, and it failed. But we didn't even have to do that if California had its act together. Now, I know, being a lifetime Republican, I'm going to upset the treehouse people, and I don't give a damn. You know, they've already pulled the ladder up on me. I don't care. If we had not played those shenanigans with that group of, people, I call them the cocksuckers, you know what I'm saying? If we hadn't played games with them, we'd already have a governor that would have done us really good. His name is Travis Allen.
Absolutely. I think we all wish that Travis had won that election. I from Idaho, an expatriate from California, wished that Travis Allen would have gotten in there. I'm done playing games. Look, it's like this. Especially being a black man from the south side of Chicago. I survived the gangs. I survived the drugs. I survived the crooked cops. And I used to be a cop. So I'm kind of torn on that one because I know we need law enforcement, the thin blue line. But I've also seen the ugly underbelly of law enforcement as a young black man in Chicago. Spotlights in my eyes, throwing me up against the wall. It has happened, okay? But the bottom line is this. I am an American. I am a patriot. I am not a United States citizen or any of those other categories. And believe me, there is a difference between being an American and a U.S. citizen. We are being called to order. Now, do I say we need to do violence? That's the last resort, and it's something I really hope we don't have to get to. But the Democrats aren't going to stop. I mean, Obama's doing a nod wink to his people saying, let's get Biden up in there so I can be president again. How much more of this foolishness are we going to put up with?
I got it. And I just wait a second. I just want to clarify just before anybody gets a little out of. I want to clarify what Kenny was meaning and who he was referring to when he said Cox suckers. That's COX. And that refers to John Cox, who ran as a Republican for governor and that. So it was not what you all might have been thinking. It was just a very clever play on words, and that I'll give you that, Kenny. But go ahead, Duane. I just wanted to let everybody know before they went all uproar. They say he said this and yada.
Watch this, Roy. Watch this. Hold on, guys. Let me get this in there real quick. My mentor and Roy's brother, his name is Lou Desmond. He taught me well. I know better than to do, profanity and stuff. That was like 5 years. But wasn't that sweet? That was pretty good.
Yes, that was a really good play on words. Go ahead, Duane.
Look, I was on the phone today with a good friend from California. And I had to talk to him. I said, look, he called me and he just wanted to know what's going on. And I said, when are you going to act? What is enough for you? And he couldn't define it for me. And when we had, at the end of the discussion, he basically told me that he wasn't worried about California because they're going to keep going back and forth. It'll be 80 years before it goes upside down. A quote from him. And I said, I really hope you're right, but I know you're wrong. And I don't like to say that to a good friend, but the fact of the matter is, in just the last 20 years, I have seen California go from a place that I would have lived in to a place that I would absolutely run from today, and have. I've gotten out of there. I've been gone since 2011. So it started actually in 2009, but completely out in 2011. So you have to look at what's going on there, and your state is mirroring what is going on in New York, which is beyond draconian. Look, you guys are the crash test dummy for the whole United States. And what they're doing is they're seeing how far can we push the American people. Like Roy put the map up, the people in Tulare County, the people, up there in Andersonville and places like that most people don't even know exist. Tipton, population 1,600 people or whatever. I mean, those people don't have one single case. Not a single case. Why are you holding every county in California hostage? Answer, because it makes it look better when you hold your hand out for the big government check. Newsom just floated himself alone via the Emergency Act to cover his failing budget. And that's what you've got in California.
I just want to read this off of our comment line. Doris writes in, thank God for our President Trump, and continue as he asks us to pray for him and our country. And she also said, blessings to both Duane and Kenny for your wisdom and truth. You're both great men. So you're getting some fans out there on our comment line for both of you, which is well deserved. It's again, of all the stuff of that, and I can't emphasize it, again, that's why I have the duct tape on here, because if this stuff keeps going on too much longer, I mean, my head's going to explode if I don't duct tape it together over what's going on here. I think it's time, I think I'm following the lead of Trump. I mean, he's drawing the lines of the sand. He's doing as much as he can, trying to pinpoint or doing this of what, of everything, not only of this, of a lot of other things that are coming in. But the bottom line is he's got to have the support for all of us. If he sees us in California, if he sees the Idaho folks up there, which are under these, he sees the folks in Michigan that are protesting over there, then he's going to know that we've got his back. And then I think you will see an even stronger Trump come out on this stuff. And I think that's where we got to get to, not only to get through this, but if we want to keep the greatest country that's ever been known in the recorded history of all humankind, I think that's the way we got to go. What do you say, Kenny?
You pretty much said it right. And that's why I'm going to go back to this, because the people got to get this. And thank you to your listeners for giving me and Duane that love and support. That feels real good. Mark the date. I said April 16th, we're going to have to entertain the idea of who we are. This is America. This is a hustler's nation. Like my man Duane said, he hasn't stopped working one bit. Now, sadly for me, my line of work, Roy.
Yeah.
And being a private investigator, being a security chief, all those things, my clients call me one after the other saying, hey, by order of California, we're closing.
Yes.
We'll be looking for you, Ken, when we open back up. But, sorry, and let me tell you something. It happened on the day before St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day was my get-over day, and I got nothing.
Yeah, if there's no events going on, they don't need no security personnel to go out there and do that. What do you say, Duane?
Well, this is, Ken is exactly the symptom of the problem, right? He is what's going on when you have idiots like Gavin Newsom in there making piss poor decisions that affect everybody, right down to the small businessman. And the small businessman is the energy of the economy.
Exactly. And watch this, without going on and on, I did send my love letter to our president, because somehow, I can't say how, I know he gets my stuff. And I said to him, with all due respect, sir, this economy before COVID-19, before the China virus, before the coronavirus, whatever you want to call it, before that hit our nation, There were all types of businesses that were making this economy what it is. And while some of them may not have perfect credit scores, they are still the backbone of this nation. While they may not pass the SBA's stringent guidelines, there are families that put their lives in those employers' hands. And by bringing the SBA in as the vetting source for this Recovery Act, that's the Democrats making sure they continue the economic punishment for the independent, get it? Independent workers who are truly the backbone of America.
Yeah, we got about 2 minutes left, so I'm going to give you, Duane, about a minute to wrap up, and then we'll go to Kenny.
I think we've actually got to lock hands all across this nation. You know, this is far more serious than I think a lot of people realize. And I think we really need to keep the pressure up. We need to support our president 110%. And Ken's right. We need to let him know. Everybody send letters. I'm going to pen one tonight. Send a letter. It doesn't take much of your time. It doesn't matter. One sentence. Let them know that you're pissed off and that you don't want to take this anymore and that you're going to go ahead and keep the pressure up. Give him the incentive he needs to go for it.
1 minute, Kenny. Go for it.
Well, here we are, April 16th. And as I said, you may as well consider this the day that President Trump took the chains off our hands. He unchained us from Biden. You know what I'm saying? And now we have decisions to make. And I say this to everybody. Duane's hearing me. You hear me, Roy. We're going to come from different perspectives of the conservative, patriotic game. We must learn a calm respect for one another. Our missions are not going to be exactly 100%. But we're all we have. And just like with the last Civil War, the uniforms were a little different based on what state you came from, but it was still blue and gold. So, yeah, we're going to have a few differences. Like me, I'm a brother from the south side of Chicago. My uniform might be a little flashy, but it's still a Patriots uniform. You know what I'm saying?
You got it. Thanks a lot. And I'll take it. If we agree 90% of the time, we can work out those 10% differences where you guys are wrong. Ha, ha, ha. That's a joke. But, yeah, they do that. But, no, we're all in that. We're all in this. We're either going to stand or we're going to die trying on this whole deal because that's the only way to go. Thanks, Kenny and Duane, for being on this half hour. It was really enlightening. And it is. It's good to hear that perspective, not only from different perspectives, but from around the different regions of the country on that. So I really appreciate you being on, and thanks for being on, both of you.
Take care, Duane.
Thank you.
You got it. There we go. And thanks to Eddie George from HEMET News for his insights on what's going on of that stuff. We're gonna work on this stuff more because there's no other way to go. I don't want to sound like doom and gloom, but our freedom and liberties in stake. But there's no other way to go. But we will come out of this somehow, some way, and we'll be bigger and stronger and badder than we were before from going out. Sometimes you got to go through the trials to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that we will do that as long as we stick together. We'll be back tomorrow on Fast Friday. We will have Kelly Victory in tomorrow, Dr. Kelly Victory, to go through all of the latest developments in the new Opening Up America from Donald Trump. Stephanie will be in co-hosting on Friday. So, as we usually say on Thursday, see ya!